Namaskar, welcome to This Week with Padma Dr. Sudhir Parikh. Doctor, sir, welcome. Namaste.
Namaskar, namaskar.
So, as we speak, there are some silver linings on the horizon. Number of cases declining. We begin with focus on COVID crisis first. So, how do you see in terms of the improvement and measures that are taken so far?
Well, I think now it's getting settled down. The crisis cases are going down. The infection rate is going down. Number of deaths are going down. So it's a good sign. I think after 2-3 weeks of little chaotic uh, uh, arrangement or management of COVID, I think now hospitals are government is kind of having a good control or hands on or handle on the whole the crisis. So that is a great and good sign.
Absolutely. And continuing with focus on COVID related issues, recently there were some posters in Delhi which said, हमारे बच्चों की वैक्सीन विदेश क्यों भेज दी? And then there were some arrests also. How do you see these kind of developments where there is a conscious attempt to malign the functioning of the government?
Well, I mean, in this kind of crisis, this kind of criticism is not really desirable, but it is fact that vaccine we did send out, but that's the past. So it's all done. So we don't have to keep dwelling on the past, or even if it is a government's mistake or not mistake but misjudgment. Government, I mean, you should not go back to that. And so it's not maligning. I think that's the wrong word. It's a fact, but the fact which was inadvertently done, and so it should not be repeated.
So when
With
I
a
say
good
malign,
intention, it was done.
yeah,
So
when
it
I
should
say
not be
malign,
repeated.
this is how government probably interpreted it. And because these kind of posters at several places which are not based on facts, and now let me quote the statement by Serum Institute of India CEO Adar Poonawalla. He said, we would like to reiterate that we have never exported vaccines at the cost of the people in India and remain committed to do everything we can in the support of the vaccination drive in the country. So that is his statement. And of course, he has worked in coordination with government. But now moving forward, the way things are in terms of relationship with different states, and there has to be a national health policy or some sort of a better way to address these issues. I'll seek your comment on that first, and then there's another controversy which has erupted in India related to one toolkit. You might not be aware about this, but in terms of your views on better coordination between center and state.
I think in the pandemic, in this kind of health crisis, which is really nationwide. So in this kind of health crisis, I think central government should coordinate, should purchase all the vaccine from the vaccine maker and allocate to the different state depending upon their requirement. And I think that so has to be coordinated by center to the state, between pharmaceutical company and the state, because it is very difficult if state has to go and different state has to put the bid in different way. That creates more chaos, because we have to make sure that first maximum number of people should get vaccinated, whether even they vaccinated with the one dose, almost you can guarantee 65% of the immunity. So I think I agree. I mean, I hope that central government takes command on this thing, because they have more resources, they have more way of doing it, and they have more way to dictate the state how they are going to get the vaccine, rather than going to and fro and play politics between state and center.
Absolutely. So beyond politics, to serve people is of prime importance. And just to share with you in the context of what we just discussed. After the first wave of COVID-19, there were voices from several state governments as well as some senior journalists in India that state, because they hold health portfolio or they have the control of managing health, so they should be given more authority, and center should sort of not keep it control on
No,
itself.
I think that's not. I don't agree on that personally, because look at the USA. Everything is controlled by federal government. No state is allowed to buy directly from any pharma company. That way, you can see that how smooth uh, during pandemic we did a administration did a lot of mistakes last year, but after the vaccination started, I think it went so smooth in next last 3 to 4 months that all, I mean, now we are kind of dumping our mask in the public. So that shows that this kind of pandemic, I mean, whether health is a subject of the state or center, that's beside the point. For in pandemic, because they need the vaccine, and government and federal government or central government has a whole authority or has or ability to ask the vaccine manufacturer to ramp it up the vaccine, speed it up the vaccine, and all sorts of things. So I think another thing what central government should have done in our India, because we got caught off guard in the second wave, they should have put some orders for outside vaccine from the Pfizer or from the Moderna or those people. That way, at least they have kind of emergency quota, because we have our population is so large. The way we are doing right now, the speed with what we are vaccinating right now, it will take 3 years to vaccinate whole everybody. So 3 years is too long time. Between that, there will be a couple of more surge of the COVID, and that will lose a lot of life in that. And so I think it should not happen.
Absolutely. And in this context, as in America, we saw top leaders taking vaccine, sharing that on social media. In India also, we had Prime Minister Modi shared him getting vaccinated. But there were some opposition leaders at the time when the vaccination process was about to begin who were criticizing some, referring to it as BJP vaccine, and some leaders who are still prominent leaders.
Yep.
They said that
Yep.
this may lead people become impotent, etc. So that
Yeah, I
kind of
understand all these things, but the leaders should take the vaccine and show their leadership that vaccine is safe and effective, and everybody else should take it. So that way, I would congratulate Narendra Bhai Modi and whole team. But again, uh, central government should have enough dosage, because it's easy to calculate. And when in September we could have, or October when the vaccine came out, or December, they should have started that was should be the that was vaccination should be the first priority. And by now they could have done almost 30-40% of the population, but it never happened. So I think that's the problem, and and because we kind of categorize the people that first only these people can get, and this group get, that group get, and that created, and unfortunately we got the mutant virus, which is more affecting the young people than older people. And as you can see, even this mutant virus, all the people, those who had a vaccination, even though they got infection, but they never got very sick, or they never hospitalized. So that shows that early vaccination was very important. And whatever happened. Let's move forward. And right now, central government, rather than going into the who buys the vaccine and who doesn't buy the vaccine, they should buy the vaccine, and then they can allocate to the state. Even they can charge the state for that. But only one authority should get the vaccine. Then we can get this number of millions of dosage of vaccine.
I think what you say makes a lot of sense, and I hope somebody hears you and probably resonates with your thinking and things are streamlined in a different fashion. But I also want to bring to your attention the idea which was floated by Union Minister Nitin Gadkari at one of the forum, and he said that there should be a global policy to allow more pharma companies to manufacture vaccine and other life-saving drugs in case of any health crisis. And he says that they may charge 10% loyalty to by the original patent holder of the vaccine. So this sounds like a logical idea in terms of looking at the world as a whole. Your response to this
Well,
suggestion?
it's a good idea. It's a very logical idea, but it's not practical
Why?
idea. Because pharma company, because I'm in the pharmaceutical kind of research business. I mean, our practice does a lot of research on a lot of drugs, particularly in the asthma related drugs. And we know that unless the pharma company has enough financial incentive, they will not do that new research. And if you don't do new research, you will not get new vaccine. And the classic example is Moderna and Pfizer. Vaccine is completely new way of making the vaccine, not old way, not like what COVID, I mean, the vaccine we have in India or Oxford vaccine, where it's a old style, old method of the making the vaccine. So, and as you can see that Moderna and Pfizer vaccine is almost 95% effective and less side effect and so forth. So I think no, the patent. I don't think we hope that there should be a global thing, but it never going to work that way because every country will take care of their own country's business and the people. So that's the fact of the life, and we have to accept that fact of the life. In theory, yes, Mr. Gadkari says is very good. I personally also wish that it can happen, but practically speaking, it won't happen. And even Biden says that okay, we are in fear of lifting the patent kind of patent version of the making vaccine. But if even if they say lift that patent today, it takes another year or two before India or South Africa or anyone can make a vaccine. So it's not that easy process that okay, you lift today and they will get like vaccine tomorrow.
So I think that's pragmatic side of this idea, which sounds ideal, uh, and it also tells us that our world is, whether we accept it or not, is run by commercial interests also, and they sometimes supersede the other sensitive and humanitarian aspects of any important decision making. And now, Daksha, as we conclude, I want to bring to your attention that there are challenges after challenges sometime in the series, and as we speak, India is facing, especially your state Gujarat is hit by cyclone which is named Tauktae, Tauktae, as the paper writes, and this has also created a lot of disruption, and Prime Minister is also likely to visit. Do you know anything about this cyclone, and it may require some additional attention gradually?
Well, I mean, this is a very horrible cyclone. There's a lot of damages are done along the way in the Kerala, in the Maharashtra, Goa, and Gujarat. And in the Gujarat this morning only, I was talking in the Gujarat, and they had a wind of 165 degree, which is hurricane wind, hurricane 4 or 5. So I mean that is very devastating wind to uproot the trees and uproot the houses and all sorts of things and kill the people. So I think it's very bad, uh, very damaging, and I'm sure government is doing very good. Government's response is very good, very quick, and very kind of proactive. And therefore, we should congratulate government of Prime Minister Modi for their proactiveness of the dealing with this cyclone. And there are lobby who believes in this um, earth warming. They claim or they blame this kind of big cyclones on world warming, and therefore they want to do kind of all the countries should take part and take a responsibility to minimize earth warming uh, as much as possible.
Absolutely. So, looking at the time, I want to appreciate your insightful, valuable contribution and sharing, Dr. Parikh, your parting words from today's show.
Well, dear friends, thank you for joining us this week. It was really very important, and still I can I can repeat my message to all of you that please call your friends, family back home, and even here, those who are not vaccinated should get vaccinated. Vaccine is very safe, very effective, and that's only way to conquer the COVID virus. So please do so. Thank you. We'll see you again next week, same time. And goodbye. God bless America. God bless India. And God bless all Indian American community. Goodbye.